Hello, everybody, and welcome back to DCM, Doritos, Connections, and Mountain Dew, your favorite local video game talk show. I am your host, Howard.
I'm your co-host, David.
And I'm special guest, Jake.
Because today we are going to have a discussion on this little segment, and Jake has come up with some, I guess, queries, some topics.
Special hot topics. You know?
Jake's got some hot takes.
Hot takes, and
gaming takes.
And he wants to sit down, chat with us, and probably say about, I don't know, we're wrong or something.
Yeah, I mean, we usually are.
No, we're right, 100%. 100% of the time. I can't think of a time we were wrong ever.
Yeah,
Nope.
that's a fair point, actually.
Yeah, that we were right. If anything from our Nickelodeon videos, we're right. Our major hits.
Yeah.
So, all right. So if you want to introduce the first topic of bring it up.
The new Quake remaster just came out, courtesy of Night Dive. It was a surprise release. It just kind of came out of the blue, and it's really good. They put a lot of effort into it, like they usually do, and it's great. It's probably the best way to play Quake now. Yeah.
So I have everything that's special about this port of Quake. We got shout out.
Pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty. Shout out to @Nibelion for making this list because I don't want to Google it. So we have, this Quake being relisted, it is now scaled up to 4K, supports 4K, widescreen resolution support, enhanced models, new lighting, anti-aliasing, original soundtrack is back, includes the original expansions and a new one by Machine Games, local and online multiplayer, cross-play, and mods, i.e. Quake 64, are available on launch, and it's shadow dropped for $10.
Yeah. And mods on console too.
Yep.
Which is really cool.
And if you have this on Steam already, it is upgraded for free, so you don't need to spend any extra for
That's
any
a
of that.
good deal.
Yeah. And it's nice too, because I mean, you could always, if you just like the way the game originally looked, you can just take all the new options and just turn them off.
Oh, really?
Because they added smoother animations. Because before they didn't really have animations; it was more just like keyframes of the different poses and stuff. So if a guy was swinging a sword, it would just it'd be a little choppy. Now they actually made it full 60 frames of animation, but you could turn that off if you don't like it. I'm not too nostalgic on the original, so I like the new stuff. I think it looks really nice. And it just, I'm having a lot of fun with it. Night Dive does a lot of good work. They do remasters for all like the big like FPS.
They did Doom 64, right?
Yeah, Doom 64, System Shock 1 and 2, the Turok 1 and 2 remasters. They've done a whole bunch of other ones. But yeah, they're really solid. And and it's on Game Pass. And and the new expansion, I didn't finish it. I played a little bit of it. It's really good. Machine Games actually cut their teeth making one of the original expansion packs back in like the late 90s, Dimensions of the Damned or
I did
something.
not know that was Machine Games.
Yeah, one of the two expansion packs for the original is where they started, and then they came back to do the new one.
Comes full circle.
Yeah, it's really cool what they can do with an engine that old and still have something that looks really cool. And
I've seen like clips of that new episode, and
it's great.
It looks incredible just from a level design standpoint. Like all the there's like isn't there like a whole like operational quote unquote windmill in one of the levels or something?
Yeah, and there's like these giant like platforming areas that are really cool and look different than anything else you've seen in like a Quake or Doom game. And just like the art style is really unique into it. And it's like a full episode. I mean, you have like a whole bunch of a whole expansion with like 3 episodes with a whole bunch of levels. So yeah, you're basically getting like a whole new Quake game just out of that. So there's a lot of value to it.
Yeah, and I've never played Quake before. I haven't touched anything from that franchise. I've played old Doom games. I've played the old Wolfenstein games. I've never played the old Quake games. So I was like coming in with a whole new, like, okay, fresh eyes. And can I just, that game slaps. This
good.
game's rad.
Yeah.
Like I was running around and I just kind of realized like, oh, this is what every boomer shooter wants to be. Like soundtrack's great. The controls like butter. So good.
Yeah.
And I just like the aesthetic.
Yeah. The aesthetic that caused Trent Reznor to not come back for the sequel because he said that the second one had no atmosphere, so
that's
he would
right,
not
yeah.
do the
Forgot about
soundtrack.
that.
He refused.
But
to
hey,
do
you know, the
to
soundtrack
it.
for Quake 2 is still pretty good.
No,
It
it's
is.
great.
With who is it?
Sonic Mayhem.
Sonic Mayhem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also there was a really funny moment where and my brother Justin, he came in to watch Quake because he's getting into the first person shooters now, and he said it's like, Josh, what's the plot of Quake? And I just looked at him and I said, oh, I have literally no idea.
I don't think they did
Because
either.
the first game is completely separate from the sequels, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and
it has nothing to
they
do with
didn't
any
really
of them.
have much of an, like, even less than Doom. I mean, Doom has a premise at least.
Yeah.
This is kind of just like a weird 40K Lovecraftian Doom spiritual successor. It's kind of a lot of things mashed together.
Yeah.
Like, your character doesn't really have like an actual motivation. You're not like just some Marine trying to survive. You're just
Just a dude.
you're just a guy. And there's text that comes up at the end of every episode, but it's very vague and it's just kind of talking about like the elder gods and stuff. It doesn't. The actual plot is like non-existent. I mean, at least Doom, had very little, but at least there was something. You know, you had more of a reason why you were continuing on. This just kind of it doesn't really matter.
And then he said like what was it? Because I was in like the first like level or two, and the floating tentacly guys. Yeah. So that I didn't see that yet. So he's going, it's like, Lovecraftian medieval horror, and I was like, dude, it's all dudes so far. And then I turned the corner, and the floaty guy was there, and I just went, oh, and he goes, see, Lovecraftian medieval horror.
Yeah, 'cause you start off fighting dudes with like shotguns and laser guns and Dobermans, and then it just jumps to like medieval castles and.
Yeah,
It doesn't
like
really make
knights.
sense. Like if it's supposed to be kind of like 40K, or if it's supposed to be like Doom, where it's an our world, but then it crosses over to it. I don't think they really cared. They were just kind of throwing a lot of ideas against the wall. Because originally Quake was going to be like a fantasy RPG.
Yeah, that's right. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Based on
And
like
then
Nordic
they were
mythology.
like. They were like in pre-production even before they were working on Doom, I think.
Yeah, they had it planned like years before. And then at a certain point, the development was slowing to like a crawl, so they just decided. John Carmack decided, screw it, just make another shooter. It's going to be kind of like Doom, but a little different. And that was kind of, I don't want to say the beginning of the end, but it sort of showed like the schism in id, where John Romero would then leave right after.
Yeah.
So no one really came back for. John Romero didn't come back for Quake 2. And I think some of the other
He
guys
went on
left
to make
too.
Daikatana.
Oh yeah, that classic.
Wait, so after they port Quake, they're porting Daikatana, correct?
From the ground up Daikatana remake when? That's what I want.
Oh my god!
Hey, Night Dive could probably do a good job on a remaster.
I feel like there's like some mod that actually makes Daikatana like kind of playable.
Yeah, I've heard it's like a decent game. It's just kind of has a really bad first level.
Yeah.
And the N64 version was like notoriously terrible. But the original PC version's kind of decent apparently.
If they can reboot Shadow Warrior and have a successful trilogy, I'm pretty
good
sure
point.
you
That's
can
a good
reboot
point.
Daikatana.
Yeah. John Romero, if you're listening, you know what to do.
Yeah. After
You made some like mob game or something recently?
Mafia 2.
What has John Romero worked on recently? Is he just from retirement?
He's been doing a lot of indie stuff.
Yeah.
Like he did like some mafia kind of game,
Huh.
not like mafia style, but like mafia themed.
I know he
Can't
did
remember what it's called.
Sigil for Doom.
Yeah.
That was like the new Doom expansion.
And he's apparently working on a sequel to Sigil
oh, cool.
for Doom 2.
Yeah. See, he's working on Doom. He can work on a new
Yeah.
Daikatana.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys had any other thoughts about you guys playing Quake, but I only got through the first chapter, so I know nothing.
Well, I told you guys this when we weren't recording. I can't play Quake yet. So I had it on Steam prior to this remaster, and then when the remaster was like came out, I'm like, oh, let me go reinstall it so I can play this bad boy finally. Because before, I don't know what the heck the problem was, but for whatever reason, in the source port I was using, the music just was not playing.
Yeah, that happened with me too.
So I'm like, I'm not gonna play Quake without music, so I just didn't play it.
I think you might have to, not to cut you off, I think you might have to download the remaster separately. I don't think it counts as an update. Like, you get it for free if you own the original, but I think you have to go on the store page.
Oh no, this was like years before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so I re-downloaded the game so I can get the cool new remaster, and the game's telling me, I got some error messages like, oh, there's no, this some video file can't be found.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh, what's up with that? So I get in touch with Bethesda support, and they're telling me, oh, well, the Bethesda launcher has this cool repair thing that it'll look for any files that are missing. And I'm like, well, I'm playing through Steam, not the Bethesda launcher. They get back to me, they go, well, on the Bethesda launcher, it's like, okay. And they told me, well, your graphics card on your laptop, it doesn't meet minimum specifications. And I'm like, it's Quake. It came out in 1996. You're telling me I can't run a game from 1996? I can run like poorly, but I can run Crysis, like the original Crysis, and I can't run Quake.
No. you
Okay.
actually
Too advanced.
It's too much.
John Carmack, that
I guess
technical
so.
magic,
Yeah.
it's too much for your laptop to handle.
Yeah, they put that hyper realistic uncanny valley textures on everything,
I guess so.
so
But,
that you actually can't play the game.
Now, Howard, I told you about this discourse on Twitter a couple months ago when it was first happening. I don't think I mentioned it to Jake. Jake, where do you fall on the Shambler? Like, is it furry or is it skin?
It's a cool idea for fur. When I look at it, I see more of skin.
Okay.
Though I think in the remaster they have technically given a concrete answer.
Really?
Yes,
Have they?
because in the video, the texture files, it actually says Shambler fur.
Oh my God, they confirmed it's canon.
But granted, that could be Night Dive. That's probably
having
not
a goof.
Not necessarily what the original developers may have intended, but.
I mean, as much as I think it's fur, I think it would look cuter if it was like a naked mole rat body. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it kind of has like the mouth and teeth for
Yeah,
a naked
it
mole rat
does.
kind of look.
Yeah. So it's like one of those like Sphinx cats where it's like all like mushy and you just want to like touch it and be like, ooh, just want to bleh it, you know. You know, the thing that's trying to viciously kill you. When are the plushies coming out? Are there plushies coming out?
I want to say I saw like an officially licensed. I'm going to look it up.
All right, hold on.
Keep talking. I'll find.
Yeah,
something.
they added dedicated servers, cross-play between everything, so that's great. It's
Yeah.
really fun. Never playing Quake multiplayer before, jumping on PS4 and playing with people who are playing on PC, and they're just wrecking your shit because they're PC players who have been playing it for almost 30 years at this point.
Oh my God, the 90s was 30 years ago.
Yeah, I think probably Quake 1 was probably 25 years ago, maybe.
Okay, there is no official license.
I think about
Shambler
25
plushie
years.
yet.
Yeah, 25 years.
I want a plushie. The Shambler.
I mean, they have like Cacodemon and Pain Elemental plushies, so
No, Quake's coming back. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, Quake's coming back.
so maybe it's time.
You know, and I guess this can be the last thing. I genuinely thought they were going to reboot Quake when they brought Wolfenstein: The New
Yeah.
Order in June
Yeah,
2016.
Like, I think a lot of people thought that because like Quake Champions came out in 2014 and
Yeah.
like no one played it.
Apparently it was decent.
That's what I've heard, but just no one played it. And like we had the last Quake game was Quake 4, which is like the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
And we haven't had a single player Quake game since the mid 2000s.
Feels like Wolfenstein's kind of slowing down, and plot-wise, unless they completely reboot it again, I think they're kind of nearing the end of it. So it makes sense if they jump over to Quake and just have that be the other shooter revival
Yeah.
thing for them.
Well, I
Because
think-
Doom they could keep going for a while
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
Well, I think they said like the Wolfenstein, like the main story they had a trilogy in mind. So
Yeah, not counting Youngblood.
yeah,
but like
those are their
Youngblood
spin-offs.
and Old Blood.
yeah.
But yeah, so like whenever Wolfenstein 3 comes out, I would love to see. I think a lot of people were expecting it to have an announcement for a new Quake game, and while part of me is a little disappointed we didn't get that, I mean the remaster looks nice enough that
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah, because it is really weird that you get the trilogy of like the OG id
Yeah.
games. You just don't do anything with Quake for like what 10 years, and then it's like, oh, we're rebooting Doom. Well, not rebooting, making sequels, but it's bringing back.
Spoilers.
You bring back Wolfenstein, you bring back Doom, and then when it comes to Quake, they're like, well, we can put Doomslayer and BJ into Quake Champions.
We can make an Overwatch clone with Quake.
That no one played.
Yeah, that went free to play after a year.
Did it really?
Yes, because no one played it.
Oh, do people still play it?
I don't know.
Because I did like BJ Blazkowicz in Quake, where he's just an old man going, "Who are you people?
Yeah, that's good.
How did this happen?" Like whenever he goes to a teleport. But yeah, I guess moral of the story is Quake is the port's out. It's $10. I think it's worth it.
It's a good
Definitely.
game.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a classic piece of I would say a classic piece of video game media. It's
Absolutely.
like the FPS textbook.
Like as much as people give Doom the credit for creating the FPS genre, like I feel like Quake was the one that really set everything else in stone.
Yeah, in 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah, Quake was the big next step up.
Especially multiplayer. I mean,
Yeah.
that was like the big, like, that was really like the first like big multiplayer.
Yeah, I mean, that was the
game.
thing in Doom as well, but it wasn't nearly as popular as Quake ended up
you
being.
kind of had
Yeah.
to like rig the game a little bit in order to even like find out about multiplayer. Like it wasn't like in Quake where it was just an option on the main menu. I think you
Yeah.
actually had to like fiddle around with the code a
Yeah.
little bit, or like with like the game launcher. But yeah, Quake. Yeah, that was like the big selling point. Probably more so than the campaign. Honestly.
Yeah, because Quake 3 was just multiplayer.
Yeah.
And people love Quake 3.
Was Quake 3 really just multiplayer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was called Quake 3 Arena. They had no story at all.
No story. All right. With that out of the way, that's the end of our segment. I'm
And then,
Howard.
hold on, didn't
Wait.
Quake 4 not have multiplayer after that?
No, it did, but
Did?
like no one
Okay.
really played it because no one really played Quake 4. It's a good game though.
what I've
It's
heard, yeah.
basically Doom 3 but faster, and I actually think it's a little bit more fun. But it's very similar.
That's from Raven, right?
Yeah, Raven. So it's good. I'd recommend it.
Raven Software. Didn't they also do the Wolfenstein reboot?
Yeah,
That was
I think they also
A
did
thing.
Return to
I think
Castle
they did Castle
Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein as well,
Return
yeah.
to Castle,
which
yeah.
is a good game.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so we're good now?
Yeah, sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt.
we're good.
Sorry.
Okay,
Go
okay,
for it.
so
End
that out of the
episode.
way, I'm Howard,
I'm David.
And I'm Jake.
and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
I'm David.
And
you
I'm
also
Jake.
didn't do the thing.
What did I do?
The video game talk show.
Okay. All right.